Breaking news this morning, a new line of succession at Fox News. Rupert Murdoch announcing just last hour that he will be stepping down as chairman of Fox and News Corporation. The 92-year-old will hand over the reins to his son, Lachlan Murdoch, who will become the sole chair of News Corp and will continue as executive chair and chief executive officer of Fox Corporation. Let's bring in media journalist Brian Stelter now, who actually wrote a whole book on Fox. Brian, I want to get into Lachlan Murdoch in the future in just a moment, but let's just start with this decision by his father to step down. What have you learned about this decision?
That's right. This is surprising because Rupert Murdoch for decades said he would never, ever retire. And that's what his son Lachlan said as well, that Rupert's never retiring. Well, times have changed. Decades have changed. The show Succession on HBO has showed us how complicated this can be. And I think ultimately what Rupert is doing today is a form of semi-retirement. That's what his allies say. Semi-retirement. Yes, he's still at the Fox office in Los Angeles this week, still puttering around. He says he'll be watching and reading and responding to everything. But he is ultimately giving up control to his son Lachlan, who, by the way, is more conservative in some ways than his father. You see Lachlan on screen there. He is certainly much younger. He lives in Australia most of the year. He is the chosen son out of all of the members of the Rupert Murdoch family. Lachlan is the one to go forward now with this company. I don't think it means dramatic changes at Fox News or the other brands, but what it does mean, it's going to open up further questions about how involved Lachlan is and whether he's the right man to run the ship, to steer the ship.
Let me read the statement from Lachlan Murdoch this morning after this announcement. Quote, "I congratulate my father on his remarkable 70-year career. We thank him for his vision, his pioneering spirit, his steadfast determination, and the enduring legacy he leaves to the company he founded and countless people he has impacted." You said you don't expect changes now, Brian, because of this transition. But I am curious how involved the Murdochs are. How involved is Lachlan Murdoch in terms of what we see on Fox News?
Right. And what kinds of narratives take hold in politics? What happens to the Republican Party? Fox, in many ways, influences and sometimes even manipulates the Republican Party. And that's not going to change as a result of this transition. But it is important to see who has the power. Rupert Murdoch came across in the Dominion v. Fox lawsuit as strangely passive. When he was deposed under oath in what was basically the only interview he was ever given in a decade, he sounded more like he was the passenger rather than the driver of the car. So perhaps Lachlan Murdoch will now be able to be more responsive, more in control. Maybe he'll be able to better manage the conspiracy theories and stop them from spreading all across his networks and his publications. But that's a very big if. That's a very big question mark. I do think this speaks to Rupert Murdoch's loss of power over the years, though. There was a time for many decades when he was feared, revered by some, reviled by others, but feared. But for my next book, Network of Lies, I talked to a longtime Rupert lieutenant who said to me, you know, there was a time when Rupert would say jump and everyone would say how high. But those days are over. People say it's not anymore. It's not how it is. Rupert gradually lost control or lost power at his own companies. And today's announcement kind of confirms that.
Brian Stelter, the perfect voice to have on this issue. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.